Hello, this is Mike Teese. Today is Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020. So today I want to do a brief video about everybody's worst nightmare in the process, which is low appraisals. So let's lay this out a little bit and talk to you about the ways to work through that. I get this question a lot from newer agents in productivity. So let's use the example that you have a home for sale for $100,000. You get it under contract at asking price, and you work through the inspections, and you clear that hurdle. But then comes the appraiser for the bank loan, and he says that it is only worth 95,000, and therefore, if it's a finance deal, obviously most lenders are not going to do the financing without working through the low appraisal. So basically, historically, there's three ways to work through that. Number one, the seller would agree to sell it at 95,000, the appraised value that this particular lender said that it's worth. And that very well could work out that way. The second one would be that the buyer is still willing to buy it at 100,000, and the bank will okay that if they bring an additional $5,000 to the table as far as down payment, and then they're happy with that. And then the third one would be kind of a splitting the difference, or coming up with some sort of an agreement where the seller would lower the price from 100,000 to say 97,500, and the buyer would bring an extra $2,500 to the table in down payment, and that would satisfy it. So that's really kind of the game plan when it comes to low appraisals. Obviously, the smaller the discrepancy between the contract price and the appraised price, is easier to work through. And I've seen some that have been off by, depending on the price point. I've been involved in some $1 million homes that have been off by 50, 100,000, and then you've had, for example, I just gave you a $100,000 home that was only off, by maybe 5,000, 2,000. So that's kind of the game plan. Sometimes you'll see, people write into the contract that it must appraise, especially when you're like paying well over asking, and maybe you're a little bit worried that it's going to appraise. And I'm not saying that you have to write that in there. Not too many people do, but either way, whether you write that in there or not, you have the financing contingency, and the appraisal is kind of baked into that process. And you may have a buyer that says, I'm not going to buy the house because it didn't appraise. I'm certainly not going to pay the contract price when it appraised for one particular price by, frankly, one particular appraiser. So, value is a moving target. You can bring another appraiser in there, and he could appraise it at a different number, obviously. But trying to fight the bank on this is very difficult. Getting another appraisal or contesting the appraisal, trying to provide your own comparables. Now, that's a long road to go. I'm not going to say it can't happen, but your best bet is to really try and negotiate and close that gap through the methods that I talked about. So those are, I think, the main points that I wanted to get across when it comes to low appraisals and how you deal with them. And like everything else in our business, you want to deal with them up front when you find out the information and in a timely manner. This is Mike Teese. Have a great day.